Good evening. Tonight I want to take a few minutes and talk to you about love. More specifically, about Christian love. And for us as Christians who have came to that saving knowledge and faith in Jesus Christ, He's our example of love. And I feel that Christianity is a religion of love. But in talking about love, what exactly is love? I want to look at 1 John chapter 3, verses 16 through 18 to provide some answers to the question of what exactly is love. If you have your Bible, turn with me to 1 John chapter 3, and we're going to begin reading in verse 16. It says, "By this we know love, that He laid down His life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brothers." So we see here that the model of true love is Jesus Christ. More specifically, the model of true love is Jesus Christ crucified. John chapter 15 verse 13 says this, "Greater love has no one than this, that He lay down His life for His friends." Now it's one thing to lay down your life for your friends, but I want to submit to you that Jesus even took it a step farther than this. He lays down His life for His enemies also. If you look at Romans chapter 5, verse 8, it says, "God demonstrates His own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." So we see the model is Jesus willingly giving His life for us, the sinners of this world. And from there, the model of true love really leads us directly into the definition. Let's look back at verse 16 again. "But we know this, but this we know love, by this we know love, that He laid down His life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brothers." From this we see that love is self-sacrifice. Following the example of Jesus, John writes that here in verse 16, that we ought to lay down our lives for the brothers. Self-sacrifice, the act of laying down our lives for others, it can be understood literally as actually laying down your life for your friend, for your brother, for your loved one, just as Jesus did for us. Certainly, Jesus understood it in the literal sense when He went to the cross for the sacrifice for us. But self-sacrifice can also be understood metaphorically, or as a mindset that places the interest of others before our own. John shows the application of true love in terms of the use of wealth. Look with me at verse 17, which says, "But if anyone has the world's goods and sees his brother in need, yet closes his heart against him, how does God's love abide in him?" What it's saying here is that charity toward the poor, it's a great thing. But it's not the only application of self-sacrificial love. But it's an especially clear one. It's something that we can all understand. But every time you give, say, money to a homeless person on the street corner, every time you write that check to your church, or maybe if you volunteer at your local hospital in the children's wing, you're giving self-sacrificially. You're putting the interest of others before your own. You're giving of your time, your talent, and your treasures that you would otherwise give to yourself. This is sacrificially giving to others. Now, the test of true love is whether we are actually self-sacrificial. If we don't show charity to the poor and to others, John asked, how can the love of God abide in us? The love of God may refer to God's love, or it may refer to our love for God. But if we fail to love the poor, or in any way have the means to help someone and do nothing, then God's love has not permeated our being. And our love for Him is incomplete. Our love for others then demonstrates the love of God in both senses. So having set out the model, the definition, the application, and the test of true love, John concludes with his exhortation in verse 18. It says, little children, let us not love in word or talk, but in deed and in truth. In this verse, we see the call to action. Through the life of Jesus, we are shown how to live, but also the actions that are required to live our lives as Christ did. We're not called to sit and watch or just offer lip service. We're called to action. Love is not just words, but action. This is truly whenever we need to walk or talk. It's one thing to say that we love and we're willing to do, but until we get up and go, as we've been called to go, how can we ever prove that it's true? And as Christians, we've been called to go. In all things, God gives us an action. There's something required of us to go and do. So we see that Jesus is truly the model, the definition, and the application. But the true test comes when we see that person in need. When we see somebody that needs help in whatever way. If we have the resources or the means to help somebody, that's when the true test of that self-sacrificial love comes into play. So I challenge you, look around you in your daily walk. Look around you with the people that you come in contact with. God will provide us with opportunities every day to truly live out these 3 verses and to be the love of God to this lost and dying world. Thank you.